It's fucking shit! Sporting life! It's fucking shit!
Welcome to the latest This Week's Acca podcast, sponsored by Skybet Acca Freeze. Tom, Jake and Jimmy with you to run through the schedule. Coming up on this episode then, we are desperate, and I can't underline how desperate we are for these fancy sunglasses that we've seen. Future, it is now. So we're on the hunt for another winner after last week's successes at 12-1 and the longer list at 40s. 3 teams are backed for glory at a decent-looking 16-1. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to ensure that you never miss an episode. And remember to keep it fun. Never bet more you can afford. This podcast is 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly. I'm not entirely sure why, on the back of a successful week for the podcast, we have decided to change things up so drastically. Like any top team, you should never get too complacent, should you? You know, just because you're winning. You need to freshen things up. You know, the fixtures come quick and fast. Quick and fast? Yeah, that's about the right phrase, isn't it?
Comes quick and fast.
If
I had a penny for every time I'd heard
that,
dear,
Jim
I'd have no money.
You've soured this podcast within seconds of starting.
Jim Rod.
The only person who was on last week's ultimately successful quest is Jim Rod, who is still here and has survived the culling. Talk to us about last week. Who was in it? How did it go? Well, we know how it went, but run us through it.
That's a brilliant question.
Take your victory lap.
Brilliant question and perfectly put. Of course, I remember all the teams. It was
Of course you do.
Burnley, 1-0, I think. Yep. Portsmouth, that game against Blackburn definitely happened. That was another 1-0. Nothing happened, but they did it. Wickham beat Lincoln. Was that another 1-0?
Yeah.
And then Barnet beat Gateshead. Was that another 1-0?
3-1.
3-1.
3-1 in the end. I saw it went 2-1, didn't it? Oh, did Barnet score late?
They scored late to make it 1, yeah.
And we do a sort of a bonus, Acca, don't we? Anything we talk about that don't quite make the cut also goes in. And that one won at 40-1. I think it was Tamworth, and was it somewhere in Scotland? Hibernian, I think.
Hibernian, yeah.
Yeah.
40-1. So it was a 12-1 4-fold and a 40-1 6-fold that were boosted by Skybet, and both of them won. So well done.
Well done, Jim Rod.
And we can't give Joe or Gab any credit because they're not here.
I don't want to.
Well, Gab got he got serenaded. Did you see the video?
Yes. If you're on there, if you go back to the beginning of this, if you're watching on YouTube, it will be there, or listening. I think we'll probably play the audio too. Yeah.
Sport ain't life.
Good shit.
The great thing is, it's true as well. I like chants
do you
that
know?
are factually accurate, is what I will say.
There are some
well
nice people that Jimmy probably won't like that actually commented on the video and was like, "What do you mean this shit? They had a 12-1 and 40-1 accas, and it wasn't any of us who commented
grow up.
that.
Nobody commented that.
They did.
Nobody did.
Absolutely.
Producer Dom screenshotted it and put it on the WhatsApp.
Ah.
I'll find it. I'm sure he did.
They're the type of people that reminded the teacher at the end of the lesson, you haven't set any homework, by the way. Did you know that?
We were still.
I just want to know. I wonder how Gab actually, because I don't know if Gab's ever had that kind of chanting fanfare. Oh, my voice.
It's all right, John Tucker. It's not that serious. It was a bit of fun. It's nothing worth, crying about. It's okay.
Right, yeah. He's fine.
On the topic of comments, do you want to? While Jake's dying, Jimmy, do you want to take us through? I know you hate this, but
no,
just
you've been having a lot of winners recently, and all the nasty comments have gone. Genuinely, I went through, and I don't think there was one mean one. So there's
found it.
Anyone? Oh, the comment on the
Go on.
Yeah, from Michael commented and said they landed at 40-1 and 12-1 yesterday. Nothing shit about them.
You just want to go, just die, and we'll do it.
I don't know.
Just tell you what, send us your list. We'll discuss it in your kind of however you want us to.
Choose data, you'd be good.
Yeah, and you just curl over in that corner. So we still have one who's not completely happy. Is that what we're saying, commenter?
No, not one. Entertaining podcast. I wasn't going to back your accas. I felt it couldn't settle on the final combo. Your credits with the wrong week's Acca games seem to back my decision. That was from Rich Grove. Then a big win on Friday, and I had a look on Sky listed Acca and thought, why not? And he did both the 4. This is Richard Grove. He did both the 4 and the 6. Well, very happy. Great job, guys. So bit of a roller coaster there from old Grovey. Thought it was shit. Slagged off the producer.
Yeah.
There were a lot of hate for the producer's graphic felt part Dom's
Yes, yeah.
Did he do that on purpose, or did he?
He's pissing around with these sunglasses he's got on, isn't he? He's not focused on the job in hand that he's been wearing indoors.
They are brilliant,
They
though.
are so good.
We're all going to buy a pair of Ray-Bans with cameras in them.
Oh my God, it's really hard to describe. It's like Men in Black sort of stuff. You know, like when you were a kid and you were watching like futuristic films of the technology and they'd always wear these cool glasses. And it was exactly like that, and they're just like normal sunglasses. It's not even like
got a button, hasn't
big,
it?
bulky VR things. It's like
He's brilliant.
it is actually the future.
It's scary good technology. You can just ask it any question you want and it tells you an answer.
It's in your head. It's like in your head, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't even know where it's
know
like
that.
playing from.
I couldn't tell where it was playing from.
No, it's just like
You can't. If Duffman asked you that question, we won't really be able to hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
I only I only saw the picture bit and the video.
Yeah, so it costs £300, and I want to spend no more than tenner, really, on the Acca this week. So 28s is what we're aiming for.
Oh,
week.
we'll get there.
In our quest to buy the futuristic sunglasses too. And if we do, we all have to wear them next week.
Because we're all on next week. If
We
we
all
win,
have to wear the futuristic sunglasses.
I'm getting some if we have a winner.
And then we could just do, in fact, we could do the show from the perspective of the glasses on the YouTube. We just get rid of the cameras and we just look at each other and film it. And like, I don't know if you watch F1, but they have like a driver on board thing where you can just go and pick whoever you want to follow around. And in theory, you could follow Carlos Sainz all the way around, right? We could do that, and then we could just go, you could just have like Jimmy cam, and then you just watch it from Jimmy's perspective. And that's how we do the show, with the futuristic sunglasses.
Yeah.
And also, if we do that, maybe we could make a business expense and we don't have to pay for it.
yeah.
This is the way. I don't care for this. Let's just let's get
And if
the
you
numbers.
do want to get some Ray-Ban glasses, make sure you use the link in the comments with the code.
If they'd like to partner up with us, let me tell you, we'd be very interested.
I'm very interested.
Very interested in doing so.
What were you doing last week then?
I went on a holiday.
Holiday.
I went to Antalya area.
Lovely.
It was just before the summer season, so it was really cheap, but it was really good. And about halfway through the holiday, just went, everything open now. And it was, I'd say pound for pound, one of the best value holidays I've ever been on.
Brilliant.
It was good.
Good.
Yeah. Proper nice place. Multiple bars, your restaurants, stuff like that. Weather, lucky, 30 degrees, a couple of days. I don't do heat well.
No.
It rained the week before, and then rained the day
Wow.
I departed. So
Perfect.
there you go. But it did mean I missed the Acca, so no futuristic sunglasses. I
Could
couldn't
have
have
been
had
watching
them.
the show from over there.
Oh God, yeah, I couldn't stop watching it.
What was your favourite bit?
Oh, the bit where you put the teams in.
that was my favourite.
That was the successful part of it.
Do you know in your complex in Turkey,
Yeah,
what was the lager on tap?
it was weirdly Tuborg,
Tuborg.
Danish one, but it was Tuborg like malt. They seem to quite like malty beer. There, I think it
mind
was the same
malt
with
beer,
Effes. And they had Tuborg
version.
like a malt.
What sort of vessel were you getting it in? Little plastic half ouncer?
It was
Did you get your own cups to keep hold of?
no. It's just little wristband. Yeah, there you go. Bang.
What vessel are we talking? Because this is important for me here.
I'm trying to
Glass or
remember.
plastic.
It was glass.
Really?
Yeah. Apart from by the pools, they gave you a little plastic,
Yeah,
plasticky
yeah.
one.
That's just
which is standard. That's sensible, isn't it? And then one of the nights, I thought I'm going to mix up. I don't want fizzy stuff, so I'll just go whiskey on the rocks. And then I was just watching him pour it, and these tumblers, but they were just filling them, and I had a couple of them. Fucking awful the next day, but then it's basically like half a bottle when you think about it. When you have a few of them, isn't it?
They don't do measurements really either, do they?
Ludicrous. But
Good.
You're a whiskey man.
yeah, God, yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You've been to Scotland a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, big time. So if any tourism boards want to get in touch about sponsorship as well, give us some holidays.
We're not desperate or anything.
Happy
guys,
to talk them up.
I am due a holiday.
Sunglasses. Yeah, I'm trying to think last time you went away.
You know, when you go on holiday to a sunny place, you need your sunglasses as well, don't you?
Yes, you do. And I tell you who makes the best sunglasses. Bam.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about before we move on to actually building the Acca?
Sunglasses, actually.
Back on
I don't think we mentioned them, but Dom, behind that wall, he wore them and filmed that brilliant fight clip at the Bradford game. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
That's what he had on to film him.
Yeah, I did wonder. I did think he and then I thought he probably has gone to a game straight with a GoPro on his head. It's the sort of stuff he'd do.
But on that occasion, that was even worse because he showed us the reverse angle, and he's the only person in the entire stadium with sunglasses on.
Yeah, it was
basically like having a big GoPro on his head.
Yeah.
It was really cloudy that day.
Yeah, absolutely pissing it down with rain. Premier League. Should James Tarkowski go to prison? Should we start with that? What's the...
I thought prison's a bit of a stretch.
Go jail.
See you later.
See you later.
Maybe, maybe, I don't know.
I was stood on my feet applauding in the living room. Thought, we've got our game back. This is the stuff we want.
Yeah, it was just one of those. Like 10 years ago, it's not a foul at all, is it? Not a card or anything like that. She's won the ball, and you're allowed to forcefully tackle back then. Not anymore.
I ain't seen it. I'm just watching it now.
In hindsight, should have been a red card. VAR should have overturned that, but that's what VAR does best. Nothing.
You see,
as we get live reaction from Jimmy.
on one hand, he's won the ball.
He has won the ball.
On the other hand, that same foot has followed through, and who was it? McAllister. It's clipped him just above the calf with his leg planted, sort of. So I can see the merit of both arguments.
Well and good and well.
I was listening to it on the radio, and the clamour from the two people covering it for 5 Live or whatever for a red card was shocking. You know, without seeing the tackle. And I've just seen it. I thought, oh, I get it now.
Yeah,
I'm glad it weren't.
Fair play.
I'm glad it weren't.
Title over?
Yeah, oh god, yeah. Title was over in November, wasn't it?
Checking.
The title over, and on the other end of the table, which actually brings us quite nicely into maybe looking at, there's only 3 p.m. games. Nice. Throw up on a Saturday. Southampton could be the earliest ever relegation, potentially.
Even earlier than Derby?
I think.
Wow.
Maybe. I saw that somewhere. This weekend it could happen if
Wow.
Wolves beat Ipswich, Southampton lose to whoever they're playing. I mean, it's irrelevant, isn't it?
Tottenham
away. I will double check this as we're going on. But I did see someone put it on Twitter, and why would they lie? It's on the internet, so it must be true.
It would be curtains.
It's game over for them.
Yeah.
Good night.
What a waste of time.
Premier League, let's start with there because there are 3 games at 3 p.m. to start looking at this weekend. Crystal Palace, Brighton. Let's call it a derby just to annoy people, even though it's the M23 derby, is it?
It's
Call it the M23 derby just because I know both sets of sports hate calling it that.
I know they're pretty close geographically, so it is essentially like a same city rivalry.
Yeah, it's quite a close rivalry. The A23 or the M23 derby by the media, so we'll call it the M23 derby.
It only takes like an hour to get from one place to the other.
Ipswich v Wolves, West Ham versus Bournemouth. Talk to me, what do we think? Anything of any interest in those fixtures?
Well, I don't know. I was looking into the race for Europe, and I found that Iriola's side often fall off this time of the year. They lost in midweek against Ipswich. Would you want to back him against? Would you want to back again? Would you want to back with West Ham? Tactically, I don't know. Palace v Brighton should be a doozy cards wise, but again, I wouldn't go near the 1x2. So these are to Ipswich Wolves, and I think that's the most interesting 3 p.m. The same city derby aside,
Yeah,
for rivalry
big derby,
reasons. Because if Ipswich win, they can go within 6 points of Wolves after the win in midweek.
But it basically is a must. It is a must-win for Ipswich. Obviously, there was one in League Two, which we'll talk about in a little bit, between kind of Harrogate and Tranmere, where that was midweek and both teams aren't going to go down. But you felt the winner guarantees is definitely safe, and it feels like that a bit for Wolves, where they're not going to go down really, but victory here all but confirms that they will be staying up. Whereas on the flip side, Ipswich, it is absolutely final straw. If we are going to somehow turn this around, it has to be on Saturday and a win in midweek at least to get the confidence going a little bit.
Yeah, that was just their 4th win of the season in midweek. So yeah, they have to win this game, otherwise I think it's done. Because if they don't win this game, they're going to have to win 4 of their last 7 just to have any chance of surviving. And given that they've only won 4 of the first 30, I think that's a bit of a stretch. There's not too much I like in the Prem, I'll be honest. Like even this game, you can make a case for Ipswich because they have to win. But Wolves have been so much better under the new manager Pereira. Defensively, they've looked very, very solid. They are missing Cunha, which is probably the only reason I'm not looking at backing them to win this game, to be honest, because I do think there's a bit of a class gulf between them and Ipswich. Yeah, it's just. I'm getting a bit. I know it's only been 2 seasons, but I'm getting really fed up of the.
Really sick of you. I have had enough.
Yeah, just the 3 promoted teams. Like, I don't know if it's. We can't really blame them.
Don't you dare
or
blame
the
them.
Premier League. The gulf between the
will
Premier
blame
and the
them.
Championship.
Don't you dare blame
Fine
them.
dross.
That is
Have
one-
a go.
Yeah.
Have a proper go.
Yeah, but there's only. It seems like there's only 2 ways to do it. One is to invest smartly, go down, try come back up, and then stay up. And the other is just to do what Nottingham Forest did and spend fuckloads on players, get points deduction, and just hope you do enough to survive in a couple of seasons. Because otherwise, you're just going straight back down.
On that
Are you genuinely saying that Forest's plan?
I don't think that was the plan. No,
They had no
a viable way to survive in the
but
Premier League.
the plan.
Buy how many players did they buy? We're looking at 6.
What's the biggest number you could think of?
It was about
Double it.
30.
Sign that many players.
But that in
Double it.
itself tells you all you need to know. They felt
Yeah.
like they needed to completely just get 26 out, 26 in.
It's not even a
squad.
scattergun. I don't know what that was.
It was just.
What was that?
It was basically if an agent went to them, they went, yeah, we'll have him. Yeah, we'll worry about it.
They ended up with a collection of individuals that were good enough to survive.
Lewis O'Brien signed that summer and then didn't even make the squad because he
Huddersfield left back as well. What was he called?
not Toffolo, Harry Toffolo.
Yeah.
Where they basically just went, I can't actually. Yeah, sorry, there's not actually any spots here. Sorry about that. On the topic of relegation, the BBC Sport article I found says that the earliest team, even though a couple of teams have been relegated by date by now, Derby and Huddersfield Town of 2018-19, so obviously that Derby side, and the Huddersfield side that went down under Martin from Wakefield, can't remember his actual name. Both occasion, Jan Sievert. The 2 teams were relegated after game week 32.
Ooh.
There were still 6 matches to play. So if Southampton get relegated this weekend, they will then hold the record in terms of game weeks of the earliest side to be relegated, with, as we say, Wolves when a Southampton lost.
We'll never sing that.
Wouldn't have enough points available to try and turn it around.
But just before we move on from this conversation, like you're a Blades fan, you're a Leeds fan. One of you or both of you are going to go
different
up.
clubs, but we get on.
Look,
we have our
listen.
football aside.
In all seriousness, what is like
The point.
no? Like if you were given the option, go up or choose not to go up, what would you rather do?
If I had the option at this moment in time, I've choose folding and then just never having to worry about this misery ever again.
I'm invested in non-league now.
Yeah, it's
Heavily.
much better, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah,
it's
that is my genuine answer. Like, I love you. Obviously, you've always got a spot in your heart for your club.
Listen,
But it's not. I'm not. It's just sapped the life out of this yo-yo nonsense. One every 2 years, and even the championship's good, but the golf is big, and we've got an unbelievable squad and such a better budget. And Coventry come other day, and we were just a class above. And it's not like tactics so well. We just got the best player in the league, and we've got an embarrassment of riches. It's nice.
tell you what, hold that thought because we'll talk championship. We'll talk championship promotion race specifically very shortly. Is there anything we want 3 p.m. wise for the Prem in the Acca?
No. I think you can make a case for Bournemouth. I think at West Ham because I do think the style differences. Bournemouth struggled recently against teams that play very direct, just negate the press. The last 2 defeats in the league, Brentford and Ipswich, both very direct teams or have the ability to go direct. West Ham are going to play out from the back, which should suit the pressing game. They've drifted on the back of that midweek defeat as well, 11-8, but it's not a confident selection. Same with Palace, really. Before midweek, I was all over getting on Palace in the Acca because I just think the data of the last 16, 17 games has been sensational. They've been the 3rd best team on expected goal difference, 2nd best on expected points, but you can't go to Southampton and not win. You just can't do that. Southampton are terrible. And obviously there's the Derby impact and whatnot. But
Hang on a minute.
if I was pressed, I would be looking at. I probably would back if I wanted a Prem treble, it would be Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, but not massively confident. I think there's much better value elsewhere.
What was your wait a minute, Jim Rod, before we move on?
It's not a derby. It's not a derby. It's not
The
even a
M23
rivalry.
derby. That's what
It's officially just a rivalry between them, but they hate it being called a derby, so I like.
Yeah, we've got to keep doing it.
It's not a rivalry. It's a derby, mate.
Basically, then it's like if we were forced to pick one from the Premier League, maybe Bournemouth.
Basically, it's fuck the Premier League.
Yeah.
Stupid division, and I don't want to talk about it.
Like you said at the start, 3 games at 3 p.m. What is that about?
Stupid.
Right, fair enough then. Let's do it then. No selection from the Premier League. Let's start building the Acca in the best place in the world. Not quite non-league.
Non-league.
But we'll take the EFL. That is coming up next. We touched upon the Championship there, so let's pick up with the Championship. Promotion race in general, Leeds and Burnley are both away, both early kick-offs, so best to avoid them. Full stop in the Acca.
We'll talk about them as a Leeds fan.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Jesus Christ.
He's loving it.
Most depressing thing is it's so entirely preventable as well.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is it's going to be 11:30 on Saturday morning, and I can almost guarantee you the first name on top of the team sheet graphic will
Well,
be
that is where he...
Melier.
Biscuit wrists.
You know,
Papadom wrist.
You know, to be fair to him, you can criticise all you want. It takes an incredible achievement to be Player of the Year for 2 other clubs, but for Sheffield United and for Burnley, Player of the Season. Congratulations to him, as Jim is
That's just an advert.
playing some music.
Ray-Ban advert again.
Yeah, they're listening. I don't think we can actually play this in terms of the rights. The producer Don May has gone, don't play it! I don't have the rights. That's cost us
Worth it.
1 pair of Ray-Bans. It's entirely preventable, and that's the most frustrating thing. The goalkeeper is on a determined mission to keep them down, and so is the manager, because he just won't change a damn thing about a
really
static line that's not doing anything up front at the moment.
We're really shrewd for him to come out after that game and say, we will be in the Premier League.
Yeah, and it's also quite nice as well that it goes at this moment in time. We don't blame individuals, of course, at this time where it's obviously emotional. But what the fuck's Tanaka doing putting the ball out for a corner? He's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, entirely preventable on that. Burnley are at Coventry as well, which I think Burnley are a good price, actually. It's annoying this isn't 3 p.m. because I would push to put Burnley in. Yep. About 6-4, aren't they, to win the game? Coventry have been very, very good under Frank Lampard in terms of picking up results. The thing they haven't quite done, as we've seen Sheffield United quite comfortably beat them on Friday night, wasn't it? Leeds beat them 2-0. Could have easily been 4 or 5. They completely ripped them apart that night. It seems to be against the top teams they are struggling still a little bit, which may be a problem when it comes to that playoffs if they do end up in the top 6, that ultimately they are going to have to play one of those sides.
They beat Sunderland 3-0. They beat them. Battered them. Brilliant.
There you go. But then what if the final? And it's Burnley or Leeds waiting for them.
Oh, yeah.
Playoff final. They've got to then play one of them.
Or Blades.
Blades. Yeah. Sheffield United were picking up points when they weren't playing very well, and now they're actually playing well, which...
We just win games, mate.
Yeah.
So we just win.
It would be quite good, though, now if
Sorry.
they start playing well and start losing.
That'd be
and
hilarious,
it's like
wouldn't it?
the absolute
Let's hope it doesn't start
awfulness
this
of
weekend.
football. Because... I'm glad you said that, actually, because Sheffield United are a huge price to beat Oxford. What is all this about here? Take it away. They are... When I looked, they were 10 to 11, I think it was, pushing even money, 19 to 20. Sheffield United to beat Oxford. If it was at that part where Gary Rowett turned up and they were picking up results and they were doing well, then you go, fair enough. That has since long gone. And Sheffield United, as we just said there, keep winning games, but now they are actually playing to a point where we go, right, they are actually
Looking like legit.
not deserving of it, but they are playing much better than they were previously when they were winning games.
100%. I mean, any time you get top of the league away at a relegation candidate, you shouldn't be looking at even money. Especially when there's quite clearly 3 teams in this championship that are much better than everyone else before you even begin to look at the teams at the bottom. So yeah, Oxford, like you said, they'd still picked up under Rowett, but they're bang out of form. 1 win in 11, 6 defeats in 9. Like, they are in serious danger of going down now because Luton and Derby are picking up points. Meanwhile, Blades won 8 of the last 10, only defeat to Leeds. Incredible away from home, full stop, really. Won 10 of the last 13 away games. Only failed to win against current top 6 sides, Sunderland, Coventry, West Brom. And then if you take the season as a whole, Oxford are the second worst team on the underlying data. So I just, my first line was just, what the hell is this price? Like, if this was Leeds going to Oxford, it'd be 1 to 3. Probably.
What?
I think it would be 1 to 3.
Would it?
Leeds have been incredibly short everywhere this season,
Everywhere they go.
Everywhere they go.
despite a goalkeeper who's doing his absolute best to ensure that that's not the case.
Hold that thought. I'm going to check.
1 to 3. One
No,
to two, maybe.
Leeds haven't been to Oxford yet. They've played them at home, which was in the interim period after Buckingham went and just before Rowett arrived. It's just before Christmas, and they won 4-0, I think.
What was Burnley? Burnley played there, yeah.
I'm just having a look now.
Do some on the fly. Yeah, the price.
Effectively, Leeds have been considerably shorter in the betting than Sheffield United and Burnley all season, no matter the games that they've gone and played.
I think the interesting thing about the three teams is that, like, I think Blades and Burnley, their floor is much higher than Leeds, so they're consistently, you know what you're going to get week in, week out. Leeds could throw in a dodgy performance, but I think Leeds' ceiling is a lot higher. When they're at their best, I think they're comfortably the best team in the league.
Yeah, Leeds went off 1 to 10 at home. United went off 4 to 10. You when they played at Oxford.
Yeah, that's Burnley went off. That was early in the season, wasn't it?
September. Yeah.
But now we know what everyone is. Like, the price is just mental. I don't know if you've got out to add as a Blades fan.
Not tons that we hadn't already said on Sheffield United. I just think Oxford, as you said, Tom, they've plateaued a bit since.
Plateaued. They fucking nosedived. Plateaued's flat.
Yeah,
They've gone down.
No.
I'm trying to work out what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, they fell off.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But watching them, it seems when they're drawing, they play for a draw, and the goals only really come from. Hellick scored from a long throw-in. And was it their last outing last weekend? So they're playing off bits and bobs, and I just think United have got too much quality. I just can't believe the price again every time.
It's crazy.
Every week.
Is the most featured team in the Acca?
Gotta be up
Gotta
there.
be, ain't they? Because
The prices.
there's some home games that daft prices to win the game.
Yeah.
It's just bizarre, isn't it? It's obviously I get it's obviously led by kind of data processes and stuff like that, of which
They're still top 5.
fundamentally on those leads are miles ahead of everyone else. But in the real world, they're winning lots of games of football. And also, is there a case for Sheffield United and Burnley that not only Leeds' own faltering form and obviously trying to win as much as you can in the final 7 before Easter Monday, is it? Which is in two weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks' time.
They play each other. And it is basically, is now the pressure on in these winnable games to go, we cannot afford any slip-ups whatsoever, knowing the importance of that fixture, that it just adds the extra pressure on ensuring that you're getting the results before then anyway, but knowing that you're playing each other, you have to make sure that there are no slip-ups, no avoidable kind of drop-offs, and then when you're going and playing teams like Oxford, you need to ensure that you're getting maximum returns.
Yeah,
I think we've settled on Sheffield United.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yes, please.
Sheffield United then to beat Oxford 10 to 11, which... What's going on here? What is happening with this?
Crazy.
We'll stay in the Championship, though, because, as we said, 12:30, woo, beautiful games. Coventry, Burnley, Luton, Leeds, West Brom, Sunderland as well.
Wow.
I mean, why are they all at 12:30? That's incredibly annoying. Please put one late kickoff or whatever so we can really enjoy them. Are there any other games we'd like to discuss before we move on and look in the other leagues?
Go on, you go first.
Seems really stinky, but I keep getting drawn to that Swansea Derby clash.
Yeah, me too.
Just,
Derby?
yeah.
Really? I've made that as a joke, but...
Yeah.
4 wins in a row now under Eustace. Maybe he's the best manager in the league.
I don't think it's an Acca pick. It's just a horrible game, but...
Jim Rod thinks sunglasses.
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's get him in.
The sunglasses quest is on.
Derby's form under Eustace is genuinely unbelievable. And it's one of them, similar to the Ipswich, Wolves and the Prem. Derby aren't out of the woods yet.
They're out the bottom.
Not Derby, sorry. Swansea aren't out of the woods yet, really. If we think... Gab said last week he thinks the points for total safety... The points total for safety, he thinks it's going to be over 50 points. He thinks somewhere around 54 this season.
Peterborough are the one that always jumped to mind. Got relegated on 52.
Yeah, he thinks...
I want to say which is the 2013. I think it was the same season Watford messed up on the final day. I think, 23rd. Anyway, Peterborough, I think, got 52, so it has been done, and it could well become that case again. Was it you? Someone's put up Swansea to be relegated?
Maybe.
Got off to a good start last week.
Hey, yo.
Thanks
You
to
know
old
what?
Melia, biscuit wrist.
I was so conflicted because we'd nipped round to me bird's dad's, and him and his missus are both Leeds fans, and we would just happen to be there for the last 20 minutes at game. So I watched Little Willie score.
Yeah.
They went nuts. And then I watched Swansea equalise, and they all went really quiet, and it was brilliant. But then I had Leeds in last man, and I've had Swansea to go down. So I was like, no, I don't know how to feel about this. United are top, but I'm out of last man. Swansea might stay up now.
Did avoid putting him in the Acca though last week as well, so that was a.
We don't like to go on about it. Yeah, but we did, yeah.
Derby and Sheffield United as a double would be 6.6 to 1 at a top price.
I don't know if it's a classic pin in it, but I just think their form's miraculous. The only thing was, I was really impressed with Swansea in general at Leeds. They did.
Swansea were
just do a number on you. They did
good.
Yeah,
Swansea played very well in that game, and I think there is again an element of like the other way when I say it, that my judgment of watching teams at Leeds is slightly squiffed on the fact that Leeds are a lot better than basically everyone in terms of judging the opposition when they haven't played well. I'm also kind of a bit reluctant that Leeds' players are just knackered at the moment because he doesn't rotate. He just doesn't change anything. He maybe changes a couple in midfield. It seems to be Rothwell, Tanaka, now Ampadu's back in, Gruev. Those are kind of mixing, but the forward line, nobody's changing. Full-backs okay did because players have been away on international break, but it's a core group of players that are tired now, and teams are obviously making the most of it. But Swansea, take nothing away, did play very well and deserved to get a point ultimately, no matter how the circumstances of that point came around.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, that I thought they were really impressive pressing, just genuinely competitive. But this is going to be a completely different ball game again at home to Derby, innit? So
Yeah, I think let's put a pin in it.
single, I'd be going Derby here, but
They're definitely value. I mean,
Jimmy's
Swansea
Punt.
even money. Oof. The only other one, Bristol City.
I was about to say Bristol City at home to Watford, 4-5.
Yeah,
I don't like betting on either of these teams.
Yeah, but
me neither. That's
I-
that.
And they're playing each other.
I'm starting
Bristol City have been really good at home though.
starting to believe Bristol City might make the top 6.
No.
Nurse get the screens, but it's the 3rd of April and they're still there.
Yeah.
And I got suckered into this last season. I thought, Manning, maybe they do, and they eventually dropped off. Oh, they're still there. They're out of it on goal difference, and I don't know. I mean, we know obviously 2 of the teams or 2 spots aren't up for grabs in the playoffs. But Coventry starting to wobble a little bit. Have got Burnley, West Brom had some tough games, and to be fair to them, they did get some points from those games. But again, in terms of wins, they haven't been there. Middlesbrough, God knows what you're going to get with
What are you
Middlesbrough.
gonna
But
get
Bristol
with them?
City at home, as we say, really solid. And even though Watford are in that mix, I can't picture them. Norwich, Blackburn, absolutely no chance on making that top 6 now. Sheffield Wednesday again, even though mathematically it's available, I can't get on board with them being a top 6 side.
Yeah.
Bristol City are there, and I keep getting drawn to doing so because they don't lose a lot of games either, which is incredibly good if you do sneak in that top 6.
Yeah, it's 1 defeat in the last 11 at home with 8 wins. So they've been really, really good at home. Overall this season, they've been the 8th best team on underlying data, so they're fully deserving of being in there. I think opposite side of things, you've got Watford, who were one of the season's biggest overperformers early in the campaign. They were in the top 6, but their underlying data said they should have been a bottom 6 team. So the fall-off's not a surprise. They're currently the 17th best team on the data. So it's that 7th worst or 8th worst.
Well, which one is it? 7th or 8th?
I'm trying to work it out backwards.
This is important to me.
8th worst.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Watford are a very good team at all. They haven't been all season. It's just a case of, can we trust Bristol City, and do we want to be getting on them at 4-5, which I do think is marginal value. What do you think, Punty?
Yeah,
Why
I don't know.
don't we go to League 1 and League 2 and then we'll come back if we need to?
Yeah, I made a compelling case for him. Yeah, and it seems like a good home team against a bad away one. Yeah. But in the context of the season, it's must win for both, because if Watford beat them, they go to win a point at Bristol, don't they? Potentially within striking distance of the playoffs, depending on results elsewhere, and it just skews everything that's gone before it in my eyes. It's not like you've got one team with everything and another team that's on the beach. But you said the 4 to 5 value.
It's borderline, I think. Borderline value, 4 to 5.
Tell you what, let's take the one team that we are confident on. Let's look at the other leagues. Yeah. And it's always there if we want it later on. Happy?
Happy.
Right then, the one pick that we are confident enough on from the Sky Bet Championship, it again is a price that baffles us. 10 to 11 on Sheffield United, the league-leading Sheffield United to go to Oxford and secure victory. Into League One we go then, where we spoke Championship promotion race. It's interesting enough at the top end. Birmingham, I think the question for us on them is, are they going to go on and break the record points tally and stuff like that, such as their dominance and has been all season really at that top end. Wickham obviously suffered losing their manager, but have still managed to keep in touch, and Wrexham, as we expected, continuing to charge and try and secure a top 2 finish for another promotion there. What games jump out to us here as the potential? Because maybe I'll kick us off with one team who mathematically are involved in that top 2 hunt. Probably won't do it just because there's a little bit too much to do. But Charlton again are at home to Lincoln. We talk teams who are on the beach. Lincoln are there. I had them in my heart.
They're there. You've seen them on the beach.
They're there. I've seen them. Scuballa's got them all playing little paddle tennis that doesn't work because you've got to keep the ball in the air because it doesn't bounce, obviously, on sand. Did have Lincoln in my heartbreaking treble, I'm going to call it, in midweek, where I had Lincoln to beat Huddersfield, Stockport to beat Stevenage, I had Crawley to beat Peterborough. What a topsy-turvy game that was. 1-0. Yes, they're losing. They've drawn level. They're losing again. They've drawn level again. Come on, get one. They've absolutely battered them. And then they've conceded a late penalty and lost the game. But away from home, it's not been going well for them whatsoever. Charlton at home, just Charlton full stop, but particularly at home, are an absolute force. Winning games, barely conceding goals as well when they are winning. It is very comfortable victories there. The price, let me double check, it hasn't changed too much since I wrote it down. 5 to 6, and we spoke Sheffield United's price. Charlton, to me, that's another one that you're scratching your head at a little bit, and in terms of the entire slate, cliched pops off the page.
Yeah, just a bit. They're on an absolute tear, aren't they, at the minute? 12 wins in the last 16 league games, and then 10 and 11 at home. Their only 2 defeats, actually, in that time came against Birmingham and a resurgent Peterborough, and the draws against Blackpool and Stockport, who are both obviously in pretty good nick at the moment. They're absolutely flying, but like you said, Lincoln's away form has been abysmal all season long, like terrible. 2 wins in 15 away games for Lincoln. 9 defeats, lost 6 of the last 9 away games, so they really have checked out when they travel. It just seems too obvious, but kind of has to go in at that price.
Yeah, the other thing for me about this game, nothing too logically based, but Charlton, the teams who they are chasing both kick off at 12:30. So they pick up results they'll be needing to win to close the gap. They don't pick up results, which there's every chance they won't, because Wrexham are at home to Burton. Different end of the league, but boy, they need the points.
Burton are absolutely going down swinging as well, aren't they? If they are going to go down, they are fighting.
They're 3 points off survival with the game in, so it's absolutely possible.
In terms, they look just completely dead and buried, and
absolutely.
Bowyer completely turned it around. If he keeps them up, there's a few of them that I keep saying contender for manager of the season, but he's certainly going to be up there and in that conversation.
Oh yeah. So it's not a gimme that Wrexham beat Burton and they're 1-2 on. And then Wickham go to Reading, who keep defying all expectations.
Scheduled these games at 12:30, by the way.
What are we going to watch?
What the hell am I going to do?
What
am I going to do?
Jesus. But there's every chance them 2 above them drop points, and then there's even more reason for Charlton to just go and dick Lincoln.
Just seeing the League 2 schedule as well. We'll talk about that.
There's more good games.
Done it again! They've done it again!
Oh my goodness.
Charlton were the one that we were focusing on.
I think we just shake hands, put it in. It seems too obvious almost, but
Do we have to shake hands?
not really, no. But I will just say sorry for your loss, Steve Evans. He's gone.
Oh, yeah, let's take that. Let's go to that end.
I know you're a big fan.
I was.
And then they've won absolutely convincingly.
That when you feel it back.
Yeah, we're back, baby. We seem pretty settled on Charlton, and we'll obviously round up any selections that we have in this section at the end. Generally around the league, did you see Huddersfield, by the way?
At Wigan. No, sorry, I'm thinking of
Bolton. Huddersfield are now considering appointing a manager.
What?
See this? That Mike Keegan, who is at the Daily Mail, saw this the other night. That they're now considering making a change because John Worthington was given the job until the end of the season. They went, we're just, the cliched, let's just, put him in charge and we'll see how we go. Back-to-back defeats now have prompted the rethink of, maybe this top six isn't as certain as we thought it was. Not is it not certain, they are now well out the picture in terms of it being in their own hands, and they now are chasing it. They're now considering making a managerial change. Paul Warne and Brian Barry Murphy are admired. David Wagner would return, but this isn't the right moment, so he's not going to do it right now. They are 2 points adrift of Bolton, so as I say, it's now out of their hands and finishing in that top six. What the hell? I mean, they are playing Mansfield, so it's not a game we're going to talk about in the Acca, but I did want to bring that up because
It's the same with Barnsley as well.
it's a wider conversation of that top six. Barnsley obviously now nothing to play for.
No, but that's because they
but that situation, no real plan of what to do next.
It's bizarre to sack the manager when you're in touching distance. Yeah, everyone goes through bad runs. It's a 46 game season. If you don't have like a 5 or 6 game period where you're playing shit, then you're going to win the league basically. So when you've invested so much time and effort in a manager, and he's brought players in, plays style, give him the full season. Because the worst that's going to happen is you're going to miss out on the playoffs, which you're going to do anyway because you sacked him. Bizarre. Don't get it.
Right. From a manager point of view, you say Wagner's turned it down.
Not turned it down, but this report says he would return at the right moment, but now's not that time.
What a bottle job. What is it? You've got 7 games, a chance of playoffs, a promotion on your CV.
If they don't go up, nobody's going to go, I
blames
tell you,
you.
I'm blamed for this.
No.
David Wagner came in, didn't get us up.
It's like a free hit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, as a manager, I think that's an ideal scenario, isn't it? And if you get in your contract, if I get you up, I want a little promotion bonus. You'll be in sunny Mexico by the time the next season starts, won't
Speaking
you?
of Mexico, maybe Steve Evans and his sombrero might go in there and do a job. I mean, he's not going to, but that would be an upturn for the Bucks, wouldn't
They
it?
play Blackpool, another game which I hate, Acca-wise. I was drawn a little bit towards Blackpool, and then that performance in midweek from Rotherham, it wasn't like they won. They absolutely battered the opponent as well, which makes me go, I'm not too sure on that one.
Did you have what else in League
This
One?
is what I'm about to say. The only issue is the only one that really jumped out to me was
Crawley, innit?
Charlton. Crawley were the other one. Even though they lost in midweek, I think they cliched on another day they get that goal and they win 4-3. Stevenage again on the beach.
On the beach.
Is it that thing? Advertisers, if you're interested.
Don't forget your Ray-Bans if you're going to the beach.
I tell you what I need in sunny environments: a nice pair of sunglasses, and boy, if I could just film my day so I remember it. Although I think Jimmy may have made this point before, or someone has definitely made the point on this podcast that when you've got nothing to play for, do you just want to win your home games? And
I made that point,
I
and
thought
he
it
laughed
was
at me.
stupid.
Oh,
He thought it was daft.
Bollocks.
it is. I think I remember at the time thinking it was bollocks because I can't actually remember if I think it's a good idea or not. But it has been made the point: do you just want to win your home games? You don't give a shit about your away games.
That was the point I made, yeah.
When I've worked in a different sport on the inside, I can tell you it's definitely that case that you just don't care when you go away. If you've got nothing to play for, you put you switch your goalie up, you don't care. But when you get home, you've got paying supporters, you win the game, you put on a show for those who are at home. Away, don't matter, who cares when you've got nothing to play for. But then equally, Crawley are 4-1, and they have something to play for.
Yeah, nobody's told them that you're probably going to go down.
Listen, lads. Listen.
Nobody's told them because they're not playing like
Lads,
that.
Come round.
Lads,
Gone wrong.
down.
It's gone wrong. Crawley are in last chance saloon, 6 points adrift of Bristol Rovers, who go to Bolton this weekend, so there could be an opportunity there for them.
Lose.
Capitalize. Although you could say that really about anyone down there, bar perhaps Burt, and everyone else is seemingly losing every week. It's a big old price.
It's massive.
And I'm drawn towards it.
I am.
Because as we say that there was a point at 3-3, so it wasn't like they were, specifically, chasing the game, because they'd drawn level at this point, and they drew level early into the second half as well. Crawley really were all over Peterborough at one spell in the game. I know Jed Steer got booked for some handball thing and then hit the bar with a resulting free kick. And then it kind of was that late scramble. Peterborough then grew into the game towards the last few minutes, and I think if any team was then going to win it, it probably was going to be Peterborough, who then got the penalty scored, won the game, and I think effectively, let me just double check the table, secured their own survival by doing so. So it was a big game there. But there was that period where Crawley then could have won the game. And at 4-1 against the Stevenage side, who are just firmly alongside Peterborough now, wedged in mid-table, as we said before, with nothing to play for. It's so tempting, because it's that end of season and wanting to have like a decent price winner on the board as well, and like last week, and try not to get carried away. But the slate and various factors and stuff like that, it's a big old price.
It is, yeah. And I think, like you said, Stevenage, they are just literally nothing to play for. And they've not had anything to play for a while now. They've just been marooned mid-table, not good enough to get in the playoff mix, but too good to go down. They're actually winless in the last 4 home games, which goes against the argument of you want to play your best football in front of your fans at the end of the season. They're actually beaten by Burton in that time, Crawley's fellow strugglers, as well as Huddersfield, who were bang out of form, failed to beat Mansfield, who also were bang out of form at the time, and Peterborough in that time at home. So it's not like we're talking about Crawley going to a team that are actually showing signs of being half decent. Stevenage do appear to have checked out. They were absolutely dominated by Stockport in midweek, 5 without a win overall. And yeah, Crawley's performances have just been really good.
I mean, fundamentally, you make the point that we say Crawley lost the last game, but in 2 of 3 games, is it 3 now, that since Scott Lindsay went back, they've scored 3 goals. Yeah. At least 3 goals.
Yeah, 3-4-1. And against Bristol Rovers at home, I know Bristol Rovers are crap away, but that was a massive game for both sides, weren't it? Crawley win that they can almost get the sun cream and that out, but Crawley battered them. They scored once. I watched the highlights, the extended highlights for that several times, and they should have definitely scored more. At least another one. I really do like it. And I just think it makes so much sense, because in every facet, because Crawley been unbelievable since Lindsay come back. They're scoring goals for fun. Stevenage have literally got nothing to play for, but they've also been bad recently as well.
They're not scoring
and the price
goals,
is massive. And in the current moment, guys, that we are in,
guys,
Crawley shouldn't be 4-1.
No.
And there was 9-2, and so the money's coming for him as well. We could have a situation here where some shrewdies get on and go like 5-2 or something.
Odds on.
Could go
odds on.
Could get smashed in. This is a price that could get smashed in.
I like it.
I like it.
I love it.
I think the slate, there's not a lot on the slate that we all quite clearly like. I think this is one that we have to put in, really.
So, hypothetically, what price would this put us on?
So, if we have Sheffield United, who are definitely in, Charlton, who are definitely in, and Crawley, we have a treble that is just shy of 16-1.
That means we're going to have to put 20 quid on if you want to get us Ray-Bans.
But then we only need one more team, because we've still got League 2 to talk about.
Is there anything else from League One?
No.
I had Stockport jotted down, shade of evens at Exeter, just again. Exeter have been really good form-wise, but they're in the beach territory, aren't they? Stockport.
Are they near a beach?
Stockport.
South, yeah.
Everyone's near a beach. It's only a tiny country, isn't it?
Good point, well made, Jim.
Where? We're surrounded by water.
I want to talk League 2 very shortly.
But you two aren't asked about Stockport. They're not. They won't be. They don't think they're out of the top 2 race, will they? No one's told them.
You never know, do you?
No one's told them. They're not a million miles off, are they?
7 points.
They're a million miles off you.
With
Yeah,
6
no,
to
Six
go.
to play. 6 games to play.
No one's told them. They're not.
Hey,
no
look,
one's said.
lads, just believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Go build some momentum for the playoffs.
All right, I'm happy to let that one slide.
Should we go League Two next?
Yeah.
Right, then the 3 teams that we have so far that make up this week's Acca. We have Sheffield United to beat Oxford for the Championship and into League One. Charlton to beat Lincoln, and the huge price that we discussed there, Crawley for an away win at Stevenage. Let's head into League Two then, which, as we know, mentioned a few times. God, it's like we fancy him, Dom, in the production area. But he, Bradford fan, and I was saying before we came on, I said, why anytime Bradford are presented with the opportunity to go top of the league, they don't take it? And he made the point that's just League Two in general, basically, at the moment.
Apart from Walsall, who've been in the top for about 5
Yeah,
months
and Walsall,
can't win a
who are
game.
absolutely going, can someone take this title off us? And everyone's going, nah, you have it, honestly. You know what, over a course of a season, you deserve it. You have it. Go on.
I don't want it.
You have it. He thinks Port Vale may well win the league. And on the topic of 12-30 games, for God's sake, what are you doing?
Oh, no.
Doesn't mean you can't watch them. Walsall play Port Vale at 12:30 as well. This is a hell of a fixture clash.
So we've basically, across the 3 EFL divisions, we've got top of the table clashes all.
That Sky Sports Plus is getting a hammering.
Yeah.
Getting an old
Can
pasty.
you do multi-screen on it?
I don't know, maybe.
Because if you can, that would be good. You can
Multiple
watch.
devices on the go to try and watch them all.
How many laptops have you got, Tom?
Just kidding. I tell you what, you could watch them in. If only there were some sunglasses that allowed you to watch football with it. I mean, I don't know if they can do it, but my God, there's a feature for you if you don't have it already. League Two is incredibly tough to call, as it has been all season. There are a couple of games that maybe appeal to me. Does anyone want to throw out potential teams that we?
I didn't have any in this division. Maybe I'd be looking to get against Bradford because Crewe have just got a good record against the big boys, like good at picking up draws. Bradford have got 2 of their 3 big hitters back, and Dom said Sarkovic might be back as well. So it just seems like a treacherous game to approach. And did Bradford win the last game?
No, they drew at Accrington, I think it was. And they've hit a little bit of a stumbling block on that one.
As a rule, I don't think we should ever be having an odds-on team in League Two ever again.
Can I then present Wimbledon to be Harrogate? Anyone? Just completely going against what you did. And I know Wimbledon have had a little bit of a wobble at home recently, but Harrogate are. I always get nervous when you point at something when I'm talking. Oh my God, he's found something that's going to floor this completely. But Harrogate won midweek against Tranmere. They weren't going to go down anyway, but that basically confirms that they should be staying up. They're now 9 points clear of the drop with 18 left to play for in that division. So you're not going to get suddenly then a team kind of like a Morecambe or Carlisle somehow turning it round realistically. They've got very little to play for. Away from home, 3 wins from 20.
What?
All season, 3 wins from 20 on the road. There's not been a great deal there. Yes, Wimbledon have had, like I say, a little bit of a wobble, but it presents a good opportunity to kind of get yourself together, ensure that you don't get dragged back into that potentially falling out of the top 7. And to me, in terms of the League Two slate, and I know they are a shortish price, 7 to 10, but it's something that just jumps out immediately to me. And would bump up with the others quite nicely.
I'm a bit hesitant.
And takes it to 28 for some.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at.
Sunglasses.
Spooky.
I'm a bit
Sunglasses.
hesitant.
What if I told you there's some sunglasses that answer questions and is like the future on your face?
The reason I'm a little bit hesitant is because Harrogate's recent away results have all come against good teams. So the last time out they drew at Chesterfield, who are playing pretty well at the moment. They drew at Port Vale, who producer Dom thinks are going to win the league, and they were narrowly beaten by Bradford when they were on that red hot streak. So I think they've got enough about them to make this more very uncomfortable. And like Jimmy said, odds on in League Two. It's just so unpredictable. And as we've discussed, nobody wants to win the title. Nobody wants to cement top 7. It's just a case of everyone seems to be clinging on for dear life.
Is there a case then that we just stay out of it? this league altogether.
I think so. Yeah, I think some of the best value is earlier in the day. I think Chesterfield at their price at 29 to 20, 6-4. They're a 12:45 kickoff at Tranmere. I know Tranmere have picked up. I don't.
What's 12:45?
So woke, isn't it?
What's all that about?
But Chesterfield are absolutely red hot. I think they've won 5 of the last 6. They're well in the mix now for the playoffs. Was it you that said a few months ago that Paul Cook's?
Yep, he ended their season.
He ended it. Yeah.
What is he?
So who's the manager now?
Paul Cook. It was all. Oh, you fell for that, idiot! You didn't really.
But yeah, they're only 4 points off the top, with a game in hand as well.
The points.
Yeah.
That's weird considering their season ended.
Yeah. You ended it after game week 28. It's crazy.
Idiot.
What about...
The only other one was Doncaster, but they're 12:30. And I know we said not odds on, but Cheltenham are the only team you could probably look at and go, right, they are checked out.
Yeah, Donny are
finished.
Flat track bullies as well, aren't they?
they're not finished.
Well, Cheltenham have lost to MK Dons recently,
isn't it?
lost to Tranmere, lost to Morecambe without scoring. Like, they are well and truly on the beach.
What about Bristol City of the Sky Bet Championship then? In terms of going back to teams that we've discussed, we love League Two as a spectacle. We hate it as a betting ground. We think then based on where teams are. But of all the teams that we discussed, we basically said it. There's a bit of marginal value on taking Bristol City for a home win over Watford. And rather than go, not sure on like a Wimbledon, the others are the early kickoffs. There's more question marks that surround the League Two sides. Why don't we just go back to the Championship and take the one that we like the look of then?
I think I'm over the threefold.
The threefold.
The threefold, yeah.
The only other ones that we've not touched on is in the National League, and it's the team that made the Acca last week that are a similar price again, Barnet.
At Braintree.
They're away though, aren't they?
They are away, but they're the best away team in the league, and they've won, I don't know, a million games in a row, 30 wins in an unbeaten 14, 9 straight wins, unbeaten in 25 in the National League. The only question mark is that Braintree did beat York in the last home game, which did put a little bit of
York
doubt.
shite away though. Jesus Christ, to behave themselves. Really.
But Barnet are like serious. Like, I don't think they can win the title this weekend. I want to be 14. No, they can't. But they
have won the title. It's just waiting. Done. It's already engraved, ready to go.
Yeah. And then the other one was the team that you mentioned to me last week, Tamworth. I think the 6-4 at Maidenhead. Maidenhead are going down. Tamworth pushing for the playoffs. Absolutely scorching hot for them.
What the hell's happened at Tamworth?
Keep pushing for the playoffs, boys.
What has happened at Tamworth?
I always said that when National League North fans last season basically said obviously Tamworth were clearly the best team in the division, and that was like at the halfway point. They were clearly miles ahead of everyone else. Had a nice little cup run as well, and then just exploded late season. And we talk about 4 points. 3 points, sorry, I should say, to top 7. Gateshead are losing every week and completely collapsing at the moment.
Yeah, 5 wins in a row.
They've got a fancy at Maidenhead. Not down, but heading that way. Again, the cliched last chance saloon. They have 5 points adrift. Maidenhead, who have won 5 of 20 all season at home. Just follow the general pattern of not being very good, full stop.
5 defeats in the last 7 at home as well.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay. That makes things interesting. Is all.
Do we have to have another team? Really?
I mean, we could settle on a 16-1 treble.
And then get another one.
And then have the long list of,
Bristol City for
Sky Bet
Bristol City,
for behind the scenes. They're not overly happy at the moment.
Tamworth.
For those who kind of commented, they're in the bookies' pocket. Yeah, I don't know.
And we've just stabbed them with a penknife in their thigh.
Yeah, trying to escape said pocket. So we'll try and obviously, the teams that we spoke about previously. Well, I've taken the wrong team out. Sorry, it is the
mentioned Bristol City were
16-1. The treble, the threefold, as we like to call it on this show.
Threefold.
The beauty of this threefold is we've got 2 absolute certs, and then the one team with a bit of jeopardy is the only really team that I'm going to check the result, because United are going to win 2 or 3-0. Charlton are probably going to have this wrapped up by half time. So it's basically a one-fold.
There's nothing. There's no such thing as a certainty in betting, Jim Rod. And I've got to do the please gamble responsibly here. Of course.
So are we sticking with a threefold? It's actually a
let's take
one-fold. Yeah.
Let's take the treble, and we will do the long list.
Yeah,
which
so
we'll
many
discuss.
options.
Obviously, one at 40s last week, so we will look at Bristol City, at Tamworth, something like that to go in there and make it up.
Any of these lose, I'll happy that obviously they haven't done their job. We weren't wrong. But if
I thought
Wimbledon,
you were about to go along the lines of I'll personally reimburse you. So this is brave. Right, let's take it then.
I'd be sick if Wimbledon lost. An odds-on team in League Two. What are we doing there?
Yeah. It's fair.
Yeah, sorry,
Liz, we're settled. The treble that makes up this week's Acca, then we are taking Sheffield United to beat Oxford. We are taking Charlton to beat Lincoln, and the price booster of Crawley, who do need a win if they are to survive, for an away victory at Stevenage. And as we touched upon there, the price just shy at the moment of 16-1. Remember to keep it fun. No such thing as a certainty, Jim Rod.
No,
Never bet more you can afford. Please gamble responsibly. Head over to sportinglife.com/football midday at Friday. You'll be able to find the link to back that at the enhanced price. Also, the long list as well. We'll put one or two of those teams that we discussed in to make that bigger price bet, as both won last week. And if you haven't already, I'm told to push this because we're winning at the moment, and people are generally more generous when that happens. Please follow, rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your chosen podcast provider. Please, can we come back next week on the back of a winner? Please, Crawley, do the job. Make us happy. And yeah, we'll be back. Sunglasses on. This time next week.